I never thought that I would see a town decimated at the level that Paradise was.
It's a difficult thing to live with, to know that somebody died that way. Trying to focus on this positive view of my mother instead of it being hijacked by the way she died.
I mean, it cost 84 people their lives, and it cost thousands and thousands of people everything but their lives.
I have a different neighborhood, different doctors, different stores, a different church, a different job, a different house. I am doing it all alone. Do I want PG&E to be held accountable for forcing this on me? Yes.
What you have in here is our case. To see this locked up behind me is troubling. Such secrets would be corrosive to a free society.
For the record, it is 10:53 in the morning of November 14th. This is Tower Site 1, 18 CA BTU 16737. This is the camp incident.
We're revealing this video and several of the images you're about to see to the public for the very first time. We obtained them through state transparency laws. You're about to hear PG&E's own worker point to the smoking gun against his company.
So that bottom string is hanging upside down?
Bottom string,
yeah, right
down. Oh yeah, yep.
The reason it fell and cracked was dangling below.
The broken hook.
The FBI lab would later help find PG&E simply let this hook wear out for more than 97 years until it broke. Lead prosecutor Mark Knoll.
They knew that they had this problem. That's the negligence portion of this, choosing to ignore.
To get the hook.
Is it possible to do the same method, but put a guy string at the bottom to set it out and bring it down whole, or is that not going to work?
I don't think we have enough rigging for that, but let me double check.
Okay.
I will confirm if we got another hand line.
Investigators had to haggle with PG&E.
Well, no, we'll give it a hell of a shot. Buddy.
Okay. If we can't, then we'll adapt.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
The PG&E workers ended up pulling the evidence apart. With the camera rolling.
Literally, we're letting the murderer into the crime scene and telling them to collect our evidence for us.
This is the moment PG&E collected the smoking gun in its own homicide case, because they were the only qualified people investigators could find to do it. Next came the electrical wire that fell when the hook broke.
In some places you can see where there's part of the wire that's missing.
115,000 volts blew bits of this wire off.
It is melting the electrical wire. They're flying through the air.
They landed like this on the ground, the sparks that lit the campfire. This case still has many secrets.
What exactly was that evidence that so scared them that they felt that they needed to plead to 84 deaths in a huge arson case?
In public, PG&E said it was fully cooperating with the campfire investigation. But behind the scenes, PG&E's people didn't talk willingly.
Many of those witnesses came with attorneys that PG&E had bought for those witnesses.
Butte County DA Mike Ramsey used a grand jury to subpoena dozens of PG&E employees and put them on the stand.
In here is our case.
These binders contain those transcripts, PG&E's employees and regulators talking for almost a year. The record's nearly 7,000 pages, the closest thing the Camp Fire victims will ever get to a homicide trial.
This is the people testifying and the evidence that flowed from that testimony.
Under California law, grand jury transcripts are supposed to become public 10 days after the case is done. But the prosecutors can't let us look in these binders. The pages inside are sealed by court order.
To see this locked up behind me is troubling. That right now is tied up in the 3rd District Court of Appeal.
A lawsuit in this Sacramento appeals court paid for by PG&E sealed the transcripts on behalf of some of the 200 PG&E employees named in the criminal case. These 22 current and former employees claimed they were afraid for their safety. They were supposed to be anonymous, but the lawyers PG&E paid for didn't properly black out their names. Their lawyers told the court they were low and mid-level employees. That wasn't true. 2 appear on a list of high-level employees PG&E turned over to a federal judge. The rest are a mix of managers and line-level workers, some involved in the San Bruno gas explosion, some are scientists who knew about the hooks wearing down, and there's a person from PG&E's finance office whose LinkedIn profile still tells today how he helped save $2.8 million from the maintenance budget in the years before the Camp Fire. These employees are asking for all PG&E worker names and job titles to be blacked out if the court ever releases those 7,000 pages. The DA hopes not, warning it could turn the record of this case into gobbledygook.
Will it be understandable? Will it be so heavily redacted that you really can't understand it?
For the tree that was on the line, there's a tree on the line, started a fire.
Oh my
And
tree grew into line or it fell into the line?
no, it fell into the line.
I've never been able to get out of it because now I'm right back in it.
These same prosecutors are investigating PG&E again for the 2021 Dixie Fire, which started in the same canyon as the Camp Fire. It burned more communities, including the town of Greenville.
All I hear is excuses. Not only are we in the same position, but Shasta County's in the same position, Sonoma County's in the same position. They're not learning from their history, and that's why they keep repeating it. We had hoped that the job we did in the Camp Fire would cause that to change, and apparently it hasn't. I would like that every person in PG&E can read those transcripts, and they can see the mistakes that were made, and they can learn from them, and they can do a better job. But that's not happening. What we see from them in terms of learning is not so much learning how to do things safer. That would be the hope. But instead, what they're learning is how better to bury their crimes. At some point, it's got to change.